This video is brought to you by Ridge. Stick around to hear more about the discount they are providing to the entire upper echelon community. Okay, one last time, or maybe not the last time, but also possibly the last time, it's really hard to tell with this one, we are talking about Titanfall, because the lengthy saga of hackers, bots, community tension, and neglect has finally concluded. The game is being abandoned, and the hacker? He won. Midday, December 1st, the official Respawn developer account on Twitter posted the following, quote, "Pilots, Titanfall is a part of our DNA at Respawn. It's a game that showcased the ambitions of the studio when it was first released more than 7 years ago, and it continues to be a beacon of innovation that we strive for in all of our games. We've made the decision to discontinue new sales of the original Titanfall game starting today, and we'll be removing the game from subscription services on March 1st, 2022. We will, however, be keeping servers live for the dedicated fanbase still playing, and those who own the game and are looking to drop into a match. Rest assured, Titanfall is core to Respawn's DNA, and this incredible universe will continue. Today in Titanfall 2 and Apex Legends, and in the future." Maybe that's a hint at Titanfall 3, I don't know, but whatever. "This franchise is a North Star for the caliber of experiences we will continue to create here at Respawn. Thank you from the entire Respawn team." End quote. That press release marks the death of a game that in truth has been kind of dead for a long time. It's not dead because there are no players, it's not dead because of hyperbolic statements from people like me. It's dead because a dedicated, meticulous hacker tore the game apart, tore the community apart, and Respawn failed to stop him. Okay, time for today's video sponsor, which is Ridge. Ridge is best known, of course, for their sleek, minimalist wallets, but recently they have also acquired a bunch of new high-quality products to choose from. There are pens, knives, bottle openers, backpacks, phone cases, you name it. There's carbon fiber, Damascus steel, even gold-plated versions for their wallet, and all of it is made with top-notch materials. You can choose between a clip and a strap with room for 12 cards plus cash in that clip, or the strap, you can swap them out at will, and generally speaking, they're the best wallet I've ever owned. Quality matters, and Ridge has the highest quality possible. If you want to test that out for yourself, they offer a free 30-day trial, and if it's not for you, you can send it back. Again, the right wallet is an important purchase, and we are also smack dab in the middle of the holiday season, where a wallet like Ridge can be an incredible gift to give. If you use the link down below in the description and code UEG, you can get 15% off your order. Again, link down below, code UEG, for 15% off your entire order. Big thank you to Ridge for sponsoring the video. Let's dive into a bit of context here. Titanfall, Titanfall 2, and Apex Legends have all been impacted by this hacker. The original Titanfall is now a casualty. Titanfall 2 is a brutalized victim, and Apex was temporary collateral damage in the war to stop him. That hacker is John Yu, also called Genu by certain members of the community. John Yu is a long-standing member of the Titanfall fanbase, who by many accounts began his time as a novice pilot, often bullied by other hardcore players. He was not as good as them. In his pursuit of victory, it is claimed, and by the end of this it will become obvious just how murky the entire situation has become, it is claimed that he resorted to various cheats and hacks in order to have an advantage. These hacks, allegedly, yielded very little in the way of desired results, giving way to a new approach spurred by what he had learned from another community member named P0358. P0358 and his associates were skilled in the art of reverse engineering, and effectively discovered a series of vulnerabilities in the Titanfall source code. These vulnerabilities were not just isolated to the original game, they also extended to Titanfall 2, and eventually, in some capacity, Apex Legends itself, but in the early days, John Yu remained focused on Titanfall 1 as a primary target. Over time, he unleashed several waves of what he eventually called the atomic bomb attack, and these attacks were not just a simplistic denial of service, they were a carefully crafted bot program barrage that left the game completely and totally unplayable. Respawn still sold the title, mind you, they still worked on some sort of solution in the background, or so they said, but John Yu, off and on over the span of many months, destroyed the functionality for Titanfall multiplayer, resulting in its eventual death on PC. Respawn might claim that this is entirely unrelated, but when a hacker is quite literally taking your game off of the market and preventing anyone from engaging with the multiplayer systems, which is a core functionality of the title, only to see it pulled from stores after that controversy gained much more traction, well, some of those dots appear to connect quite clearly. Confusingly, and worth noting in this video, Titanfall had actually become playable close to its eventual demise. There were a series of workarounds implemented, and either by choice, most likely, or lack of ability, less likely, John Yu had failed to take the servers down once again. Having promised in April, I think it was, on social media that help was coming, Respawn had apparently delivered. But soon after, despite a vibrant player base on Xbox One, the game would then be ripped from the open market and archived away as a dead product. Confusing, hard to analyze, and very suspect. But we're not done. Titanfall 1 has been killed, but Titanfall 2 is in a state of community turmoil. After the original had been rendered unplayable, John Yu moved on to the sequel. His atomic bomb attacks proved capable of taking the entire matchmaking infrastructure offline, and he simultaneously operated what appeared to be a blacklist that prevented streamers and content creators from accessing the servers, and this was very effective, by the way. How exactly he did this remained somewhat in question, but the undeniable reality was that he had found effective ways to disrupt the game, likely based on the engine itself. Eventually, this proved to be too much for the community to tolerate, and two active players with extensive coding experience, named Dogecore and Mr. Steak, decided to attack Apex Legends. They found and exploited a vulnerability taking the game offline and redirected to a website called SaveTitanfall.com, which was operated by a group of community members who wanted to save the game from its current situation. Respawn, only having 1 to 2 people even working on Titanfall 2 to solve these problems, attempting a fix for these vulnerabilities, was incapable of solving the problem, and the idea, at least in theory, was to force their hand by attacking the golden goose, if you will, which was Apex Legends. The results of this endeavor were unexpectedly chaotic. In the aftermath, the leadership behind SaveTitanfall.com, also the leaders of a high-profile Titanfall 2 community as well on Discord, created a 40-page document exposing that Dogecore and Mr. Steak had been behind this attack, that they had planned it in a rival community or a partnered community at the time. They were actually working together up until this point, and also accusing P0358 of being John Yu, operating the blacklist to deny streamers access to the game, and claiming that this was an attempt at reviving a previously dead project called Titanfall Online. These allegations came with dozens, probably hundreds in total, of screenshots from Discord showcasing statements by various community members, admissions of guilt, private messages, planning, different channels, and a whole bunch more. But that 40-page document would prove to be just the start of a community civil war. I can personally attest to this as a side note that I was given access to the Discord server and all of the secret channels, and after going through and looking, there was absolutely context that was missing. It appears that this document was maliciously created. As any 40-page hit-piece document will inevitably cause, there was a response. I myself reported on as many angles of this as I could possibly find, and I'll have a playlist link down below that shows point for point how things unfolded in the aftermath, but the response was fairly explosive. It turned out that one of the architects behind this expose had been enthusiastically requesting that the hackers do more damage, and was well aware of what had happened to Apex Legends, possibly even wishing for further damage to be caused to the rest of the Titanfall franchise. These revelations came after a Discord message log dump and put the community under even further strain. In response to this, over the span of months, P0358, Dogecore, Mr. Steak, L0S7, and a character named Marvin composed what amounts to a multi-hundred-page response document. This was a quasi-hit-piece character assassination, narrative reversal, whatever else, that contained an incredibly large amount of evidence while attacking the previous authors over mischaracterizations, fact errors, and context manipulation, most importantly. I was sent both of these documents in their prep phase before they were made public, and have had numerous conversations with pretty much everyone involved in the entire situation. Even after, I would say, I don't know, I spent 100 or more hours on this entire saga, and there's more to come. I'm still not even in a position to draw definitive conclusions. The entire situation is a disaster. What started as a simple, disgruntled player became numerous instances of outright doxing. I was sent a detailed packet of information about a man who some believe to be John Yu, and the claims of who is or is not responsible for what specific acts of sabotage have become something more akin to myth and legend than actual fact. Some say P0358 is no savior at all after he proposed fixes for the Titanfall source code that might prevent further attacks, but the notorious hacker John Yu himself. Others claim it is a man located in southern, I believe, Alabama, who has been called and harassed at length in an effort to prove his guilt. Some community members have contacted me with Twitch chat logs of who they claim is John Yu, while others have piled into my email with details about previous usernames, failed esports agendas, and connections between things that I didn't even know were involved. There's a story here beyond what I have already covered. It's a story I'm actively working on as well. Compiling alone at this scale can take weeks, if not months. But whatever the truth really is, the end result is the same for today. Titanfall 1 has been discontinued for new players. A beloved franchise, a core component of Respawn's DNA, so they say, but a game neglected till it was made unplayable on numerous occasions, on an engine so plagued by exploits that the sequel, and the spin-off, which have hundreds of thousands of active players, are falling prey to its very same weaknesses. Respawn pledged on social media that help was coming, and help arrived, only to pull the game down from storefronts and signal the ultimate end of their battle against John Yu on that singular front. It's a war with more than one particular theater, but this one has been closed, and John Yu, if his effort was to truly destroy the game, an effort he projected on many occasions to be true, has achieved total victory. A sad day for many of its fans? Yes, absolutely. A victory for someone so dedicated to destroying a franchise they catapulted themselves into a gaming media almost national spotlight and spurred some of the most widespread community unrest in a single franchise I've ever seen? Also, yes, two things can be true at once. But that's it. If you want to support, there are links down below. I'm attempting to make Patreon and locals the primary funding for the channel, so please, if you have any interest at all, check those out and sign up. There's also Odyssey, a YouTube alternative for a different place to watch all the videos. Merchandise, Ridge, of course, use that link, support them. They're a great sponsor of the channel and have been for a long time. Another gaming YouTuber to check out, so go subscribe to him as well. And social media, a bunch of links for that, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.